Hello again. This is Mike Van Ruth of the Orange County, or OC, Housing Talk, represented by the Elite Home Sales team. I have here with me Tim Lorenz and myself, Mike Van Ruth. And how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing well, thank you. But one of the things that I'd like to say is we really don't coordinate on colors.
You know what? I thought about that this morning, and I'm going, what, did we get the memo? Yeah, I text him. Didn't we come in blue shirts one time? And
we
it's
did, yeah.
And we don't even contact each other. It's not like I text him, hey, Tim, I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah, right. No.
No.
We're not like that.
It's Tuesday, black shirt day?
No, it's not. But anyway, good to be here and excited to start sharing some of the stuff that we have going on about markets and real estate and Orange County and all that stuff that you guys care about. That's why you're tuning in.
Especially right now with the way the market is going right now. It's just a exciting time with the way the market is, with the supply, the amount of demand that's out there. When we're talking,
it depends on which side of it you're on. If it's exciting, it's not exciting for buyers who have to make decisions quickly.
Yes, and we were talking about that this morning, and you said you were going to discuss both sides of the coin, the perspective from the buyer and the perspective from the seller. So why don't we start with the buyer?
Okay. Some of the things I'd like to let you know is that basically what we have is a seller's market extreme. The market is truly vertical. I've mentioned that, I think, on a few of the others. It's getting boring to hear that, but it's not, because you have to know what to expect. And do you have somebody that can help you get through the process? There's a lot of things going on out there, but for buyers, the frustrating part is, do I give up or do I keep going? I've put in offers and I've not been able to get what I want. I've been outbid on offers. I was trying to come in and just make a reasonable offer on a property. Let me put my hand up. That means that's from the buyer's perspective, reasonable. Reasonable is what buyers will pay for a property. And right now they'll pay more than the ask price consistently. So you've had some experience with that. You had to take them out.
Well, in the beginning, and I'm sure you've dealt with this problem before, is they have a certain price point they're looking for, and that's what they're going to look for. And I'm telling them, hey, we're getting multiple offers on these properties. We're going to have to come in strong. And you take them, show them these properties, and they want to write an offer lower than list.
Yes.
And I try to explain to them, I said, that's not going to win it. But a lot of times they don't want to listen. They listen to their friends and everyone else, and then experience teaches them a new lesson.
Absolutely.
And then they realize, okay, let's go ahead and do it your way now.
The market is such that was okay before, meaning what, 2-3 months ago, you could do that. And you will. A lot of you are not going to believe what we're saying, and you want to test the market yourself, put in your own offers. We're certainly capable of doing that. But the problem is, literally, day by day, the market is going up. Not month by month, not every quarter. It is really fast. So if you find a property you'd like to buy it. But you're going to have to pay more than the list price. Just be ready for that. Now, you may get a second bite at the apple, meaning another negotiation. You may or may not. But it depends on what's going on. So in your experience, they wanted to try it. I would recommend, if you use us or somebody else, it's real important that you make real strong offers. My suggestion is, don't look at properties that you're qualified for, meaning if you're qualified to $700,000, please don't put that 700 as the number you're looking at. You would have to look at probably 670 because you're probably going to be bid up 30,000. So don't look at the 7s, look at the 670s, and hopefully you'll find a house in that price range. You're going to pay the 7.
Exactly. The stress came because they were in escrow on the property that they were selling, and they didn't have a choice. They had to find another home, and I'm like, well, we better learn this lesson really quick because we don't have time. And it got down to the point where they eventually put in an offer on a home sight unseen because they didn't really have an opportunity. They had gone back home. We spent a whole weekend looking at properties, and after they finally left, didn't find anything. It was one of those. And you saw it. I was in the house walking around the camera, showing them the property through FaceTime or whatever at that time.
Yeah, FaceTime and doing what would be called a virtual walkthrough.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that you can't still be able to get a price on a property that is reasonable. We had one recently where it didn't appraise, and we had to go back to the seller and say, this is what it appraised for.
Was that Denise's?
That was Denise's. And we didn't know which way it was going to go, what they were going to do. The agent actually got mad at the seller who said, we're into a deal on the purchase, that's enough for us to do it, and accepted the lower by $40,000. I mean, that's how bad it was. And they did accept it at the lower number. Now, that isn't going to be the case every time. Each negotiation is individual.
But you walked her through that negotiation.
Yes. I wouldn't let
because
her
she originally was going to say something, and you were like, strategically, don't say that. This is what you do.
And what we're talking about is we went back to our clients, the buyers, and we said, how much more than the appraised value can you go, or do you want to go any? And they gave us a number. And then we went back and took the appraisal. You have to get permission, which we did from the buyer because they own the appraisal. And we sent it to the seller and we said, it didn't come in. What should we do? Made it a joint problem. The reason I'm telling you this is not every agent knows how to negotiate. You would think they would. This is real estate, but they don't. They don't have any clue as to how to handle that. We didn't go back and say our clients can put more money in. It was a struggle for them. This is an entry-level home. It's their first home. They would have to really scrape to pull together the money they were going to talk to.
Above and beyond, yeah.
And it didn't approach the number that we were short. So let's find out if the seller is even willing to talk to us.
And don't show your hand.
No. And so we sent it back. And they came back and said, we'll just take it where it is. Did I expect that? No, but I don't expect anything. You can't go out with your own expectations in negotiation.
Or projecting your own thoughts into the seller's mind.
Yes, and our client or our agent at first was sure that this was going to kill the deal. And I understand why. Most people would. I know our clients thought it would probably kill the deal when it came in so low.
But that's creating a problem where doesn't one exist.
Yes.
So you can't assume anything.
You can't. The agent, now you as buyer or seller, can get emotional. It's your house. You're totally into it, but you don't want your agent to be emotional about what's going on. Just guide you through it, do the best they can. And they were perfectly understanding that if it didn't go through, they were willing to look for new property if that was necessary. So we had clients that realized they had already been working in the market for a while. And by the way, it took them just a few weeks, actually, to find this house and put an offer in. And it closed. It closed as of yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
Friday.
Friday?
So it's just recently closed. We had another one with one of our agents, and he went into it. He got that done. That's Cameron. He was able to get the property in for his clients, and it was I think it was 2 months. It took him from the time he got in. He's closing next week on a property. Again, both of these were on the entry level of properties, what we would call the low end, the entry level. I don't mean that to belittle anybody. Getting into the market is really important. And it was kind of exciting because they had to look at, good grief, 20 properties and put in more than one offer. And that's the part that frustrates both the agent and the client, because we're thinking, I'd just go find a property, put it in, negotiate it, and it's done. And in today's market, it's not like that. Will it get to that? Yes. I can't tell you when. It's probably not going to be this year at all.
Like the last property I was talking about, I wrote 26 offers on a multitude of different properties for the client.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of.
And that can be frustrating if you want to be frustrated. It's not frustrating if you understand the market. We're trying to get you into the property. Now, each one of those, your clients liked. It wasn't like you just putting in offers on anything you could find. So it doesn't mean the properties aren't out there. They're out there. It's, can we secure them?
Because there are many other people looking at the same properties.
That's right. And if we go back to my state of the market, or whatever we called the podcast, the one I did.
That was a market update for the week of February 22nd.
On that one, if you go back and look at that one, you'll see that I was saying that this market's going to be around for quite a while, and it doesn't take, it's more effort, but we do find them. People aren't settling for properties they don't want to live in. I wouldn't let a client do that. You have to like this property as your dream home. I don't know if I like the term dream home, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's one that you really feel comfortable in. You can not just live in it, but you enjoy living it. You like the neighborhood. Everything about it is good. So we are short of inventory, but we're not short of properties people can find that are good homes for them. That sounds really strange, I'm sure, to people looking at, what's the problem? What's the problem is the 32, I don't know why I said that, 30-something people in that age range have actually found real estate now as a means for wealth and for enjoyment and for their home. And because of that, there is this glut of people coming into the market that haven't been there, plus the drive of people that this market would have created with the low interest rates and the desire to have a home. So all those are converging at the same time, which means the market is overloaded with demand.
Increased demand and a lack of supply. Economics still apply. The demand and supply curves still.
And they're knocking it out of the park. I mean, I couldn't believe it. On my own home, it went up in 1 week over $100,000.
Wow.
1 week from sales. How long does it take to sell? They can sell quickly. Most don't close quickly. And let me explain. Sell quickly. You put them on the market and you get offers, multiple offers, and you select one and they're in escrow and it's on its way. Why don't they close quickly? Because the seller is going, I have to buy a property, it's going to take me time. So there's a contingency in there for the seller to find a home.
So there's an extended escrow to allow them the opportunity to find another property.
And they are finding it. The ones we've been getting our clients into, the one I told you that just closed, that was only a 30-day escrow when the people had to find a property, and they found it first day out. So they were going at the same time. That was Denise's. And Cameron's, they had to find something. And I think that's a 45-day escrow. Everybody thinks these are going to be 2, 3, 90 days, 2, 3 months. It's not.
So buying the property is just one aspect. It's now the seller having to find a property for themselves.
Right. So, and they don't want to put their goods in storage, and they don't want to
Yeah, who wants to move twice?
Yeah. So that's
I hate moving. Why would I want to do it twice?
exactly. So we have answers for all these, but you want somebody who isn't into drama as an agent. I mean, drama, it just exacerbates the problem. You don't need problems at all.
No, you need solutions.
I had one which was unusual. In a market like today, you would think everybody was driving the market as far as they could. I want to tell this story because it's an unusual one. I had a client. The client found a property pretty quickly. That one had some problems that were uncurable. So we got out of that property. We found another property which was better than that property within, I think, a week. Distance between the properties about 2.5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
The property was superior, the second one. I know pricing real well. I've been in the business a long time. And I said to him, they have it too low on the market. And let's put in an offer it was about 25, 30,000 above what they were asking for the property. And I said, other agents are going to know this. So, I mean, there's multiple offers already. We're going to have to be at that number. So we put it in. I got a call from the realtor saying, we're not going to accept your offer. It's too high. Now, that's real unusual in this market. I said, it's okay. He doesn't mind. He knows he has to pay cash. He has the cash to pay down to the loan amount, which is what you have to do. If a property doesn't appraise, you have to pay cash to what the appraised value is, and then whatever your down payment is. My client had that. They were okay with that. They really wanted this house. And they said, no, we're not going to sell you at that price. The broker came in and said, we're not going to sell it to you at that price. By the way, I knew that it was valued at more than $50,000 than the offer we put in. So they were pretty much way off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be too specific. I would, but I don't want to embarrass the other agent and have them figure out which property
Because
I'm talking about.
that is embarrassing.
Yes, and I don't want to make it so anybody can look it up. But they came back and they said, we'll use some numbers here. Whatever 100,000, and we had 50 more than that. So if we were talking 3, it would be 350. It's not, because there isn't anything that low, so I'm being safe. So if it was 3, I think they had it on at like 325. I'm using the numbers after the 100, just so you can follow. We had offered 350. They said no, and I said, well, if we came in at 335, remember, it's not the 3. I'm using the numbers behind the 100. And they said, yeah, that would give you the property. So we came down 15,000 off of our offer.
On a property that was already undervalued.
That I thought was undervalued. You don't know until you get the appraisal.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy. They weren't sure it was going to appraise. The property came in using the same numbers I am using now at 400, exactly where I said it would, which is nice. They got a lot of equity. So the buyer won in a market that you can't lose on. I mean, you should be exceeding where it should be. But
did the seller ever see that appraisal?
no.
Thank God.
No, I just said it.
That would be extremely embarrassing for the listing agent.
And we don't want difficulties between the seller and their agent. And it's the reason everybody was happy with the price. Nobody felt they got cheated.
Mm-hmm.
But Our client is very happy,
Oh, I bet they are.
very happy. Now, having said that, it is important that you have agents that know what they're doing. You'd be surprised. Now, we're talking just buyers here. That they can come out okay. You have to expect to pay more than market, or at least more than asking price.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that you're going to find one, like I just said, those are rare. The reason this came out that way is it's an unusual property. It was hard to actually determine value if you aren't really good at it. So it wasn't unusual. It wasn't a tract home with all the other homes that looked like that home, so it's easy to price. So
Well,
I'll give them that.
I understand that problem because Dorothy's property, within that neighborhood, that it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. One of those hadn't sold in 15 years.
Yes.
That particular model. People who moved in the area stay there forever. So her particular model had not had a sale of that similar size property in 15 years. So what are you going to compare it to? It's very difficult to price something like that.
Absolutely. But you should be able to.
Yes.
But it's difficult if you haven't got enough experience. Another thing, if you're looking for an agent, and I know that if you're just a buyer and you don't know agents and they're not doing podcasts, because you know us now. Anyway, what you want to do is make sure that they're asking you enough questions. Asking questions is a form of that you can see that they are professional. They're just not going out. If you said to somebody, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath Mission Viejo home, and I take off to go look for it.
How much time you got?
I mean, I don't know how you'd find that. You want them to ask you every possible question they can so they get a good visual picture of the home you're looking for. That takes a long time. You know, how many, I understand you said 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms. What if we had 5 bedrooms and it was the same price? Would that be okay? What if it was 2 bedrooms and a loft? Would that work? The reason that you want to know that is you're expanding and you have more properties that would fall in possibly if it meets your criteria. We're not saying you should bend one way or the other, but if we know, because just 3-bedroom, 2-bath is not going to get it. 3 or 4 bedrooms.
You get them there. It's like this has no yard.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about yard.
Yeah. Or what did you want for flooring? You know, what if we had a view property? Would that be of use for you? Things of that nature, besides being qualified. I'm just saying, you really want people to dig in and understand what you're looking for, not just run out like a chicken with their head cut off and go find any property that exists.
You got to narrow down.
I remember years ago I had somebody who had traveled all over the country. He was an executive. And he had said he needed 2 or 3 days, had to see 6 to 8 properties on Saturday and Sunday, then bring his wife back midweek because they were being transferred. And I said, I don't think I'll need to show you more than 8 properties for each day because you'll get confused anyway. And he's like, nobody ever hits it. I've got to find one my wife could accept. I know what that is. You don't know what that is. We talked over the phone. I asked a lot of questions. We went out the first day. At the end of the first day, he said, you know, my wife would have accepted any of these. Went out the second day. We narrowed it down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
But they were 2, not just properties his wife would accept. They were 2 that she would love.
Awesome.
But that's from asking the questions. If you don't ask enough questions, you might as well look on Zoom or realtor.com yourself, and that's not going to give you everything. I don't care how you do it. Picture's not the same. You need somebody who knows what they're doing.
We've talked about this ad nauseum. It's like some of these photographers, I swear they're magicians. You get out to the property and go, whoa, this doesn't look like anything like the pictures.
Or the other way around. You have the guy who shot it all without his flash on, and they're
Or-
completely
or that
dark.
a-
You
or
can't
that-
make out
Or
anything.
that agent that uses his cell phone to take pictures.
Yes. It's
Those are annoying.
unbelievable. Or have 3 pictures, and you're going, what's important is I need to know if it has a downstairs bedroom. It's real important. It's not in the write-up. It doesn't say it anywhere, so you're now trying to figure it out through pictures, and they have 4 pictures. The backyard pool, the front door, the entry, and the kitchen. That's it. And you're like, well, how do I figure this out?
Especially in this day and age.
It's just bizarre. Anyway, that's the buyer problems and things to look for. It's more work for both the buyer. You have to go out many more times, and I do want to suggest you go midweek, not on the weekend, because if you can get it early in the week, you may be able to get your offer in, get it negotiated, and set before the weekend. The weekend is when everybody else is coming out, so you have fewer people coming if the agent doesn't control the time period for offers, which they can do. All right, switching to
I know
sellers.
some people that do that.
Us. So I'm switching to sellers. Now, in this market, everybody's getting multiple offers. In any market, we get multiple offers.
But that's by design.
Yes. So we're more experienced at it, number one. But that shouldn't make a difference to you. What makes a difference is our attitude and understanding of what to do with the multiple offers. We get multiple offers, and we know how to drive the offers.
It's all about leverage.
And most don't. I can't tell you how many agents that when they get into this kind of market go, oh my God, I hate this. What do you hate? We got 20 offers. I'm like, my God, that's what you want, to do a job for the client. And they say, but there's 18 pages, and I've got to read all 18 pages 20 times. Hello. You make a very good living. I think you could read 20 offers, 18 pages apiece.
Yeah.
But they're just nuts about it. Anyway, it's real interesting to watch people's attitude. We can take what somebody can get naturally and we can push it beyond because we know how to make that happen. And that's what we like doing. My greatest excitement is...
That's the best part of it.
It so much is. And so many agents really are lost in the process. I don't want to accuse any agent of being bad on purpose. No. Some are untrained. Some are get too much into the drama, get overly excited about what's in front of them, have never had multiple offers, so they don't know how to handle them. They don't know what to write in to secure the position. What do you do if the person wants to pay $40,000 more than the ask price? There's an appraisal. They're probably not going to pay more than the appraisal. So you can take the appraisal contingency out, and you can ask for proof of funds for the down payment and the difference between what you think it'll appraise at as an agent and the amount they're suggesting they want to pay, so that there is not a likelihood they'll fall out. They know beforehand they have to pay more. You're communicating that even if their agent is new and doesn't know it. So there are ways to protect all that, but it is very exciting time on the buyer's side because you can drive it so high so fast and get it sold, which is a benefit for the neighborhood. Again, the buyers coming in are going, I was just looking in that neighborhood, it just went up $100,000. How do I pay for that? I can't live there anymore. So it's a double. There are two sides.
Sword,
yeah, it's two sides to this coin, if you will, because one side advantage, one side disadvantage.
Yeah, there's always that one agent that sold it below list, and you're just like, thanks for that. Looked really good. It helps my comps out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What were you doing?
I mean, in a normal market, nobody pays over appraised value and often never pays over the list price. And now it's pretty much all of them. And you have to know how to deal with that. You have to know how to protect that. You have to know what to do with that. It's not every agent that can do that. And you certainly aren't going to get that from these discount brokers that advertise all over TV and say that they're going to do something for nothing because their agents can't service the way a full service agent would.
Well, do you think one of those discount brokers is going to pull off the magic like that property I listed, and we had to fight like cats and dogs to get a reappraisal, which is unheard of. No one does a reappraisal.
Yes, if the appraisal doesn't come in, and there are ways to fight it, that doesn't mean you win. It's like
it didn't hurt that day a property closed at that very amount.
Yes, that was helpful. So we know what to do. I just don't want to leave a false understanding that we can do it every time. Often when you're arguing with an appraiser, I'll use a different word, when you are discussing with an appraiser that he might be incorrect in his decisions.
They usually don't back down.
No, it's like arguing with an umpire in baseball.
They
don't change. But as we used to say when I played baseball, we're arguing for the next one. If I'm arguing with you now over the call, it's because it was a bad call. You'll be more careful. Mm-hmm. To not argue means that he does what he does. However, when you can show that you really do have comps that are different, then you can win the argument. And that's what we look for.
But you're not going to get that kind of service from...
No. Because they have to work on volume. I even heard on one of the business channels somebody saying, well, we can get the real estate agent out of the deal altogether. We'll soon be able to go seamless. We'll be able to list the home, sell the home, and never have anybody visit the house.
You can tell that they've never sold a house.
That's right. And one of the things I want to tell everybody who is watching, recent surveys showed that most people want a good agent, somebody who knows what they're doing, in the middle of the transaction to protect them on the price that they're buying or selling for, to make sure all the paperwork gets done properly and that everything goes smoothly. If you can do it seamlessly, nobody's walking into your house, and there are some things in your house that can make it better than others or less. If you price it too high, you can't sell it. To go seamless sounds like a good deal. Some of these will go, well, here's how much we'll offer on your home. And then we're going to have somebody come take a look at it. One of the ones, I actually had a person come to my house. I did it online, and then they said, well, now we'll do 9%. That's whatever percentage. We take that off, and we'll give you the money as soon as you agree. Buy the house. And I knew they were $50,000 under market.
Where do you think they're going to make their money?
They were going to charge
You're going to make it on your back.
9%, and then they said, but we have somebody come over to the house. I'm sorry, didn't have him come to the house, but I did. I went up to that point, and then just because they knew who I was, but they didn't know I was an agent, and I wasn't going to go further. I just wanted to understand their process. And then they said, but we're going to send somebody over, and we're going to tell you what things need to be fixed, so you'll fix them. That includes painting. If you have colors on your wall, they want them white. So they're going to make this house a flip home that
and you
pay
put
for.
all the money into it to do that.
So the deal is really bad, guys, if you think you have to subtract for fix-up, which, by the way, you don't have to do to sell with us. We'll sell it as it stands, and we'll still get higher than normal market for a property in that condition. Often what the market is doing, especially now. So you don't have to fix it. You're going to get paid and close really close to the same amount of time because you have to go through escrow. That requires, if you have an association, the association documents, all these documents have to be provided I don't care who does the real estate deal.
It doesn't matter. They all have to be done.
There's an old saying, and by the way, I used to run the homeowner fraud division for LA County, and I had a favorite saying when I went out and spoke to people. If it sounds too good to be true,
It is.
it is. Every time.
That should be a big red flag.
Oh,
Bang,
my
bing, bing,
goodness.
bing, bing, bing. Hello.
By the way, yesterday I went on to Facebook. I don't go there often. And there was a thing with some red on it, said 2 or 3, and it had to do with shopping or stores or something. It's one of the icons I'd never clicked on. And I click on it. There's all these things, unbelievable things, that were $1, like a car for $1. And I'm like, oh, man, this is not going to happen. Nobody's going to get a car for $1. Nobody's going to get these major appliances for $1.
Come on, Tim. You're blowing up my dreams here.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just telling you, fraud is built on the individual knowing they're getting too much for the money. It is. It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
I'm the winner every time, except you don't come out the winner.
No.
So it's exciting out there. You can buy a house. It's going to be within whatever the market is. It's like trying to buy stocks for under the market value. Are you kidding? They have a whole thing on the market. So you can't do it. You can try. And somebody will say, yeah, but I can put in a stop loss, or I can put in I'm sorry, I don't play the stock market that way, but you can buy it. You know, if it hits this, I'll buy it. If it hits that, I'll buy it. But no, you can't buy it under the market. The market is the market. Our job as agents is to make sure we do the best in that market, both buying and selling, and we do it consistently. Not only do we do it consistently, we have fun doing it for you. We want to do it for you. So, call us.
Well, yeah. Well, each deal is individual. There is no cookie cutter deal. Each new home has its own challenges with the clients, the buyers, the home itself. You can't just go into the game thinking, oh, this is going to be just the same as the last. It never is. And just having the ability to navigate that for the best for your client.
Absolutely.
And they don't get to see all the ins and outs of things that happen every day. You tell them a couple of horror stories, they're like, really? That happens? Yeah.
Well, let's go back to that one I told you. We ended up getting a great deal for my client, where he got the house under market in this market. I mean, just unheard of. Actually, I had 2 of those, but just stay with the one that was, we were in another property, and the problem was that they had built a garage that was actually, there was a, like an alleyway, but it's a dirt road where there's going to be a road, but it isn't built yet.
Yeah.
So it's dirt. They had built their garage that encroached on that street.
So it went beyond the easement?
It went beyond, not easement, it went onto the road. It passed easement, and literally it went onto the road.
That's a problem.
And if you didn't have an agent, how would you know that?
You wouldn't. And then you buy the house, and then problems
So I
ensue.
said to him, we'll continue to buy the house. You really want to stay with this house, but you have to move the garage. And their answer was, no. We said, well, then, no. Now, mind you, that isn't my saying, it's my client. But you really don't ever want to buy a piece of property that they've gone beyond what can be done. I mean, that was
because
a
the
real mess.
problem is coming down the tracks, and the previous seller is pulling eject before they have to deal with that problem, and someone else gets to inherit it when they purchase that property.
That's right. And they did keep it on the market, even though we told them, wow, that's a real serious problem. It's not a minor problem. In fact, in all my years of selling real estate, I really never had one with a building that was built onto a street. Okay, it's a dirt road, but it was a street. It's going to be a street.
Well, I grew up in an area of Norwalk, and the street I lived on was a dirt road until I was probably 12 years old. So yeah, I understand that. I got to watch the street go in, and wow, sidewalks, and of course, as kids writing our names in the concrete. I wonder if it's still there, but
You could go back and look.
you can. It would be easy, just and not even think about it, not knowing that hey, you got to be back from that. That could be a problem. But interesting stuff.
Yeah. So there are reasons you need somebody, and somebody who's got some experience.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
those unforeseen problems are the ones that could be very dangerous.
very dangerous. They bite.
They hurt.
Exactly. Exactly. We don't want you to hurt. We want you to have a good, solid deal all the way through. Our job is to get you the best price in the shortest amount of time,
With
least amount of problems.
Exactly.
That's the seller. Buyer, we want you to get the house you want for the best price with the least amount of grief. It's basically the same thing. But not everybody works that way, but we absolutely do.
Well, we're in the industry. We hear all the stories. It's
Amen.
like all those cautionary tales.
Exactly.
Well, fantastic, Tim. Well, I appreciate that conversation. And also stay tuned because we're going to have more videos coming down the line. You can find us on OC Housing Talk. We have our YouTube channel, and we're going to be getting other things going and pushed out. So keep your eyes on us because you're going to have probably a weekly video coming out from now on.
You can also find us on Elite Home Sales Team OC.
OC.
Did you see his mouth forming? It's like he thought I didn't remember.
No,
Anyway,
I'm just here having your back all the time, Tim.
Yeah.
That's what I'm,
I like that. One of the things I do want to tell you is if you have any desire to ask questions about real estate, we'd love to answer those. So please either call me, write to our email. You'll see the phone number here, 949-874-2247. I pick up the phone, so you are actually calling me, and we'd be more than happy to help you with any of your real estate needs.
Exactly. All right. Awesome, Tim.
There we are.
And next time, let's talk before you do so we're not like...
Well, yours has a logo on it.
Well, it's still black. It's like, the Bobbsey twins over here. We're trying to maintain our own individuality here. So
That's right. That's right.
All right. Thank you very much. And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next time. Thank you. Hello again. This is the Orange County housing market, represented by the Elite Home Sales Team, Tim Lorenz, and myself, Mike Van Ruth. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing fine, but I think it's the Orange County Housing Talk.
What? Okay. Take two. I'm glad I have you here.